Hello my friends, welcome to a new video. Today a review about the Playseat Challenge DD. Playseat has been one of, if not the dominant force in foldable cockpits for over a decade. The original challenge dates back to 2013, and while we saw a refresh with the ActiveFit update in 2021, nothing truly game-changing happened. Until late 2023 with the Challenge X. That was a solid step forward in what is still a very underdeveloped foldable sim rig market. But the biggest weakness, the wheelbase mounting design, remained untouched. Then, at the end of 2025, the Challenge DD arrived, and I have to admit, I was genuinely excited to get this one in for review. What is in a box when you open the Challenge DD? Well, there is the paper manual, which you guys know I really appreciate. There is attachment material for your hardware to attach it to the sim rig, and there are also some fancy cable binders. What is missing is, of course, a shifter holder. Since this is more of an F1 type sim rig, well, you won't miss it that much, but yeah, it's not there, and it is also not available to buy as an option. Setting it up is refreshingly straightforward. From unboxing to fully assembled, it took me less than an hour. I did run into a small hiccup. I was missing 2 bolts. Luckily, I had spares lying around, so it didn't slow me down. Still, worth mentioning. The pedal configuration is surprisingly versatile. You can quickly adjust the pedal plate angle by removing the support rods and tilting it, giving you an inclination range from around 70 degrees down to nearly flat. On top of that, you can fine-tune the angle further by lowering the front via the wheelbase support height adjustment. There's even an additional extrusion that changes the pivot axis at the front of the wheelbase plate, allowing for even more dialing in. According to Playseat, this setup supports all pedal sets. Unfortunately, I don't have all pedal sets here in my garage, but I can tell you that it works just fine with the Logitech pedals. The wheelbase mount offers impressive adjustability. You can tilt it forward or backward at almost any angle, slide it about 6 cm front to back, and, something rarely seen on foldable rigs, you can also adjust its height. That gives you a range from 59 cm at its lowest up to roughly 76 cm at maximum height. For foldable cockpits, that's seriously flexible. Playseat claims compatibility with all wheelbases, and again I can confirm it works flawlessly with the Logitech RS50. What I really can appreciate for the configuration in the Challenge DD is that you can do the configuration while you are seated in your seat. Of course, you need to put the right position already for F1 or GT mode of the seat itself, but then the distance for the pedals and also how high the steering wheel comes, it can be done when you are seated in your seat. And this is something that I have not seen before with any other foldable systems, especially for both pedals and the height of the wheelbase holder. It is something very unique. The seating position itself is also adjustable thanks to the beach chair style leg mechanism. You can set the seat height anywhere between roughly 35 cm and 59 cm. The tension straps supporting the seat base and backrest can also be tightened or loosened, allowing you to choose between a firmer or slightly more relaxed seating feel. The Formula 1 driving position, I do have a few remarks. The first one would be that the steering wheel, again, it comes a bit too high. It was the same with the Next Level Racing one. It could have been just a few centimeters lower. I like to have my steering wheel just at the chin level, and here it really comes, at the tip of my nose. It's a bit too high. Of course, a remark here, round steering wheel, so no formula steering wheel. So is it really a bad thing? I don't know. I think that if you really want to drive with a round wheel, that you are better off in GT mode, and there is no issue with the steering wheel coming too high. Another thing would be, and this is something which is an issue with the Formula 1 position, I think that the pedals, they still come a bit too low to be in the very immersive F1 position. I wonder why, because if Playseat would have drilled a few holes more, they could have let the pedals come a bit higher. But I don't understand why they didn't do that. Of course there are limits. If you raise the pedal plate too high, your knees will start to make contact with the wheelbase mount. That said, even though it's not a perfect F1 replica position, it still feels immersive and, more importantly, very comfortable. Getting in and out is also easier than expected. The Challenge DD no longer has the open front design, but because there are no rear straps running towards wheelbase mount, access remains surprisingly convenient. A big plus also, despite this being an F1 edition, it's not only F1 that you can drive with this. So if you put your seat a bit higher, so you fold the feet a bit closer and you pull your pedals a bit closer, you can drive without any problem in GT mode also. If I look at Next Level Racing, which is the biggest competition in the foldable sim rig market, you have there you have the GT and you have the Formula Light, two different products. And in the Formula Light there also you cannot just drive in GT, and this is possible with the Challenge DD. Really a thumbs up for that. Playseat raised the Challenge DD for drivers between 120 and 220 centimeters tall. That sounds realistic, although at the very lower end, achieving a proper F1 style pedal height might be challenging. Still, the usable range is impressively broad. The maximum driver weight is rated at 163 kilograms, which also feels believable. When seated, the cockpit feels spacious rather than restrictive. The pedal base itself feels solid. Yes, you can see slight movement on camera, but in actual driving it's practically unnoticeable. Because Playseat opted for a full, thick pedal plate instead of separate trays, even standalone pedals without a dedicated base plate feels stable and well supported. The wheelbase mount is probably the biggest surprise here, and also where many foldable rigs struggle. There is minimal visible flex on footage, but while driving it's barely perceptible. Considering the amount of adjustability built into the system, the rigidity is genuinely impressive. I would confidently describe this as one of the most rigid wheelbase mounts I've experienced on a foldable cockpit. From the moment you assemble it, the entire structure feels solid and premium. The materials are high quality throughout. The white frame paint feels smooth and refined, while the matte black elements look clean and modern. I didn't notice any imperfections, chips or rough finishing. The decals and printed logos are sharp and stylish, and the black and white color scheme gives it a premium, almost motorsport inspired presence. My only concern is that the folding clamps are painted, and over time the interlocking metal teeth will inevitably scrape some paint off. It's hidden on the inside, so you won't really see it. I only noticed it because of a few paint flakes on the floor. The fabric that they used for the Challenge DD is called Active Fit, and this is patented by Playseat, and it is like a fabric where you sweat a lot less in because it has like this honey gray texture on it. It is also very soft and comfortable to be in, and it's the same for the entire seating area. I do feel very comfortable when I'm in it. The backrest is finished in a faux leather upholstery that looks genuinely classy, complete with stitched logos and subtle red accents. The Velcro straps securing upholstery feel strong and durable, and during tests they handled my weight without issue. The real engineering highlight though is the clamp system used for adjusting wheelbase height and pedal travel. These components feel exceptionally well designed, and credit absolutely goes to Playseat's R&D team for executing this so well. Folding the Challenge DD is quick and effortless. Setting it up takes about a minute, and folding it away is just as fast. The addition of hard plastic wheels makes it easy to roll into storage, whether that's against a wall or inside a closet. In terms of usability and foldability efficiency, this cockpit performs extremely well. The footprint of the Challenge DD is a bit different than we have seen with the Challenge and the Challenge X. Because of the mechanism that it uses, it became a bit bulkier. Once it is folded out, it measures 150 centimeters in length, 65 centimeters in width, and 97 centimeters in height. Once it is folded in, it becomes 165 centimeters in height, 62 centimeters in depth, and 65 centimeters in width. The weight of it is 16 kilograms, which is quite reasonable for a foldable seat. I don't know a part in the world where you cannot get a Playseat Challenge, so very good availability. When we look at the price, well, €399, and I can hear you think, whoa, this is a very hefty price tag, and you're absolutely right. €399 for a foldable sim rig is very heavy. I think it is the most expensive foldable sim rig that I have reviewed until this moment. Now, okay, you have a very good foldable sim rig, and you also need to take into account this is licensed by the FIA, and if you license stuff, well, you always have to pay some extra also, so that's where the heavy price tag is coming from. Of course, they could make it a bit cheaper, so $399. I'm sure that it will drop in price over the coming months and years, and I think a good price for this would be around €349 to get. For budget-conscious buyers, the price might be a hurdle. But if you're short on space and want a cockpit that's sturdy, adjustable, easy to store and capable of both F1 and GT configurations, this is currently one of the strongest options on the market. Playseat didn't just improve the challenge with a DD, they redefined what a foldable cockpit can be. I can honestly say there's very little I dislike about it. Yes, there are small areas for improvement, slightly higher pedal positioning for F1 mode, a safety retention for the pedal plate when folded, and perhaps a lower wheel position in F1 configuration, but these are minor refinements. Right now, this is arguably the best foldable cockpit available. Thank you all for watching. I hope you had something from this video. I will do a comparison between the Challenge DD and the Next Level Racing Formula Light Pro soon, so subscribe if you don't want to miss this, and I will see you all next video. Bye bye.